The commandment for 7 is, "You shall not steal." Alright, guys, this is going to be a short one. There isn't that much to say about 7, I've got to say. I'll open up with a brief summary of the episode and then give my thoughts. So, Decalogue 7 thrusts us into another domestic struggle. Stefan and Eva have 2 daughters, Micah, a young woman, and Anya, a little girl. Except Anya isn't their daughter, it's Micah's, and Eva doesn't want to allow Micah to raise her child. She faked the birth certificate upon Anya's birth so that the state recognized her as the mother, and she convinced Micah to sign off on it because Micah was only 16 when she birthed Anya. The loss of motherhood tears apart Micah's soul, so she resolves to change the situation herself. She runs away with Anya, stealing her from her mother, who stole Anya from her. They run to Wojtek's house, who is the real father of Anya, played by Polish actor Bogusław Linda, who you might recognize from Kieślowski's previous masterwork, Blind Chance. Wojtek makes teddy bears in his country house, which lends itself to quirky production design. It's in this house in which most of the drama takes place. We learn that Wojtek was Micah's teacher, that there was a scandal because of the pregnancy, that Anya has a recurring nightmare that she won't describe, and a few other bits about their history. While all of this happens, Micah negotiates with her mom over the phone concerning the custody of Anya, but Eva won't budge. Mirroring Wojtek and Micah, we see Stefan and Eva discussing the situation at hand as well as the past. Between the two conversations, we get a pretty good picture of everything leading up to this point. Once Micah thinks that she cannot trust Wojtek anymore, as he thinks that she should return to her parents, she runs away with Anya yet again. Wojtek and Micah's parents scour the surrounding area for her, where Eva finds him hiding in a train station. Anya runs to Eva with open arms while Micah runs onto the train, not wanting to be a part of the family anymore. By itself, it's a fine episode. There's enough interesting content in there to keep you entertained, and the acting and cinematography is great. But it feels more like a play than a film. Almost all the information is given to us in on-the-nose dialogue. It's a classic case of telling and not showing. We see some things, sure, but the episode feels like it's a story being told to us, and honestly, the story of what happened in the past sounds far more interesting to me than the story happening in the episode. One thing that bothered me was when Wojtek told Micah that she operates in extremes. She wants all or nothing, nothing in between. And it bothered me because this is the case for most Decalogue characters. But we learned that they're like this through their stories. Kieślowski has never told us in such black and white terms before, but he didn't need to. He doesn't need to here either, so I'm confused why he did. This episode comes off the heels of Decalogue 6, a strong competitor for the best episode of the series, and an episode that told its story through heavy usage of almost silent images. I'm not lambasting Decalogue 7 for its use of expository dialogue. That's prevalent in Decalogue. But Kieślowski usually balances exposition with imagery, and in this episode, it just feels unbalanced. The other issues with this episode are how some of the characters are treated. Eva is a cut-and-dry villain. She treats Micah like she's the evil stepmother and Micah is Cinderella. We also learn that she breastfed Anya as a child, even though there was no milk in her breasts. She won't give in to Micah at all, and wants Anya all for herself, even if it means destroying the family. And who makes the real decisions in this episode? Obviously, the impetus for the conflict occurs when Micah decides to kidnap Anya. But from there on out, the characters just follow their personalities. Micah and Eva butt heads, as to be expected. But Anya makes the major decision when she reveals herself to Eva and then abandons her real mother. In an episode about a mother trying to hold on to her daughter, it just feels off to give the biggest decision to the 6-year-old. It would have been more powerful if the major decision at the end of the episode was Micah allowing her mother to fake the birth certificate. As I said, it's not a bad episode if taken out of the Decalogue context, but within it, it's lacking. It feels like the shell of a Decalogue film. It also lacks the inclusion of Artur Barkisz. Kieślowski said that Barkisz was cut because they didn't film him right. I feel like Kieślowski thought he didn't film the whole episode correctly. I could be wrong though. But in a series full of 10s, this is a 7.